Before you even open your eyes, the world has already started pulling at you. Notifications light up your phone. Deadlines whisper from yesterday. And before your feet touch the floor, you're already sprinting, mentally. You're answering emails in your head, reliving arguments from last week, and worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. But here's the truth no one talks about. The first battle of the day isn't out there, it's in here. And most people lose before their coffee is even brewed. Have you ever noticed how quickly your mood in the morning shapes your whole day? One anxious thought spirals into 10. One glance at the news, and suddenly you're carrying the weight of the world. But what if you didn't have to start your day this way? What if, instead of being dragged by the chaos, you could choose peace first? Buddhist wisdom teaches us something quietly radical. The first few moments of your morning hold the power to change everything. Not just how your day unfolds, but how you feel within it. Imagine this. You wake up, not to noise or panic, but to stillness. You don't reach for your phone. You don't replay yesterday's mistakes. Instead, you sit at the edge of your bed, feet grounded, hand resting gently over your heart. And you say to yourself, not out loud, but with full presence, "This is my moment. This is my mind. I choose how today begins." It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Because in that sacred pause before the world intrudes, you're doing something profound. You're reclaiming your own mind. In Buddhism, mornings aren't just routines, they're thresholds. A moment to reset, to return, to realign with what's true, to plant the seed of peace before the world plants fear, doubt, or distraction. And here's what's even more surprising. The words you whisper to yourself in those first minutes, they don't just set the tone. They become your compass for the rest of the day. Whether you spiral into stress or step into calm, begins with 5 simple truths. So, before life picks up speed, let's slow down and walk through the 7 powerful things you must tell yourself every morning. Each one is a doorway to deeper clarity, healing, and strength. Are you ready to begin differently starting tomorrow morning? Reminder 1. I am here. I am alive. This moment is enough. Have you ever noticed how your mind keeps waiting for something more? More money? More love? More success? Before it allows you to feel grateful? We tell ourselves, once I get that promotion, once I find the right person, once I fix this mess in my life, then I'll finally be at peace. But the truth is, peace doesn't wait for your life to be perfect. Peace is already here, in this moment, in your breath. Let me tell you about Hannah. She used to rush through her mornings like most of us. Coffee in one hand, phone in the other, mind racing through to-do lists, regrets, and worries. She rarely felt present. Even in joyful moments, her mind wandered. She was always somewhere else. Until one morning, something shifted. She was standing at her kitchen sink, just washing a mug. Nothing special, but she paused. The warm water on her hands, the light through the window, the silence of that early hour. Suddenly, a quiet voice within her whispered, I am here. I am alive. This moment is enough. That simple sentence changed everything. No, her problems didn't disappear. She still had deadlines, bills, and heartbreaks. But from that day on, she began to show up for her life, not just physically, but spiritually. That's the power of mindfulness. It doesn't fix your life. It reveals it. It reminds you, this breath, this heartbeat, this quiet second, it's not small, it's sacred. When you're fully present, even a walk to the mailbox becomes a meditation. Even sitting in traffic becomes a reminder. I am breathing. I am alive. I am okay, right now. You see, Buddhism teaches us that suffering is often the result of living outside the moment, either chasing a future that doesn't exist yet, or mourning a past we can't change. But this moment, this exact one, is the only place where life truly happens. So, let me ask you something. When was the last time you let yourself just be, without fixing, chasing, or judging? When was the last time you truly tasted your food, listened to the wind, or felt grateful just for having lungs that breathe and eyes that see? Maybe the healing you're searching for isn't somewhere out there. Maybe it's right here, where you already are. So try it now, just once. Breathe in. Say silently, I am here. Breathe out. I am alive. And gently remind yourself, this moment is enough. Because when we start living with presence, we stop missing our lives. And suddenly, even the ordinary begins to feel like a miracle. Reminder 2, nothing outside me can disturb my peace unless I allow it. Have you ever sat in a quiet room, yet still felt like a storm was raging inside your chest? I have. And not just once. There was a time in my life when everything outside looked calm. The job was stable. The family smiled at dinners. The sky was blue. But inside me, chaos. Every little comment, every delay, every silence from someone I cared about, it twisted my gut. I kept thinking the world was doing this to me. That people were unkind, life was unfair, timing was cruel. But then, I heard a simple truth in a Dharma talk that cracked something open in me. Nothing outside me can disturb my peace unless I allow it. It hit like a soft whisper and a thunderclap all at once. The truth is, it wasn't the world. It was me. More precisely, it was how I reacted to the world. Think about it. Two people can walk through the same storm. One curses the wind, gets soaked, fights it every step. The other pulls up their coat, breathes deep, and walks gently with the rain. Same storm, different experience. Because one chose peace, and the other fought reality. That's when I realized peace isn't passive. It's not waiting for the noise to stop. It's not found in retreats or perfect conditions. Peace is power. It's an active, conscious decision to not let the outside world hijack your inner space. In Buddhism, this is called equanimity, a state of balance, clarity, and calm, even when the winds of life blow hard. It's not cold detachment. It's not pretending not to feel. It's knowing that you are not your emotions, and you are not your thoughts. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly chose how to respond, instead of just reacting? Because in that tiny gap between what happens and how you respond, that is where your freedom lives. I remember one morning my phone buzzed with a message that, just a month earlier, would have ruined my whole day. But that morning, I paused. I took a breath. I smiled. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally understood my peace is mine to protect. This doesn't mean we stop feeling. It doesn't mean we become numb or indifferent. It means we become aware. So next time you feel the wave of anger, the sting of judgment, the ache of uncertainty, pause, notice it. breathe, and gently remind yourself, nothing outside me can disturb my peace unless I allow it. You are not powerless. You are not fragile. You are the sky, vast, still, and free. The storms may come, but they pass. Always. Reminder 3. I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment. Have you ever noticed how the voice in your head talks to you? Not the calm one. Not the one that whispers in moments of peace. I'm talking about that voice, the critic. The one that calls you names when you mess up. The one that says, you should have known better. You're not enough. Everyone else is doing fine. What's wrong with you? Yeah, that voice. Most of us wake up and carry that critic into our day like a heavy backpack without even realizing it. And the more we try to fix ourselves, the louder it gets. It feeds off guilt, shame, and comparison. But Buddhism teaches us something radically different. That the root of our suffering isn't failure, it's judgment. And the antidote is compassion. There's a woman I once met at a retreat center in California. Her name was Claire, early 40s. She had just come out of a difficult divorce, was rebuilding her life, and struggling with intense self-doubt. One morning, we were doing a walking meditation. Slow steps, silence, breathing in, breathing out. Then she whispered, almost like she was confessing a secret. I hate how I talk to myself. If someone else said the things I say in my head, I'd walk away, but I can't walk away from myself. That moment stayed with me. Because don't we all do that? We punish ourselves for not being perfect. We replay mistakes like broken records. We think being harsh will somehow make us better. But Buddhism flips the script. You can't hate yourself into healing. You can only love yourself into growth. So here's a small, powerful practice. Every morning, before the noise of the world enters, take a breath. Place your hand on your heart if it feels right. And say softly to yourself, today, I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment. Not because you earned it. Not because you did everything right. But because you exist. And that's enough. Let it be your anchor, especially on the hard days. Especially when you fall short. Especially when you feel unworthy. Because true kindness isn't about spa days or positive affirmations. It's about how you show up for yourself when you're hurting the most. Thich Nhat Hanh, a beloved Buddhist teacher, once said, to love yourself is to be at peace with yourself in the present moment, just as you are. That doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you stop using self-hate as your fuel. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you'd speak to a dear friend. Would you call them stupid for being tired? Would you shame them for feeling anxious? Would you judge them for not having it all together? Of course not. You'd say, it's okay. You're doing the best you can. So why not offer yourself the same grace? Some people think kindness will make them lazy or soft. But here's the truth. Judgment paralyzes. Kindness empowers. When you feel safe within yourself, you take risks. You grow. You try again without the fear of being attacked by your own thoughts. And that's when real transformation begins. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of love. So tomorrow morning, when the old voice creeps in, when it says, you're not enough, gently remind it, I don't have to be perfect to deserve love. Today, I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment. Say it again and again until that becomes the new voice, the soft one, the wise one, the voice that heals. Because the journey to peace doesn't begin when you fix yourself. It begins when you start treating yourself as someone already worthy. Reminder 4. Everything I need is already within me. Have you ever felt like something was missing in your life? Like no matter how hard you tried, how much you achieved, or how many things you collected, there was always this quiet voice inside, whispering, "It's not enough." Let me introduce you to someone. Her name is Sarah. She's a 38-year-old woman working in marketing, living in the city, surrounded by noise outside and inside. From the outside, her life looks fine. A good job, a decent apartment, friends who text occasionally. But inside, she's exhausted. Tired of chasing success, tired of trying to look put together, tired of waking up every morning with the feeling that she has to earn her worth again. One morning, sitting alone with a cup of tea before the world started demanding from her again, she came across a sentence in a book on Buddhist wisdom. It said, "Everything you need is already within you." At first, she scoffed. It felt too simple, too dreamy. How could that be true when she always felt not enough? But that sentence stuck with her like a soft echo in a quiet room. And slowly, she started to notice how often she told herself the opposite. She wasn't thin enough, not successful enough, not spiritual enough, not lovable enough. Where did all those stories come from? Then one day, while meditating, she imagined herself as a lantern. Old, covered in dust, forgotten in a corner. But when she brushed just a little bit of the dust away, something happened. Light shone through, and it hit her. She didn't have to create her light. She just had to uncover it. That's what the Buddha meant. That feeling of not enough isn't real, it's just dust. A result of craving, of comparison, of never stopping long enough to see what's already shining quietly inside. We are born with a deep well of wisdom, with kindness, with resilience, with awareness. It's just that no one taught us how to return to it. The world tells us, do more, buy more, be more. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, be still. Look within. You already are. Every morning now, Sarah starts her day with one small ritual. She places her hand on her heart and says softly, "Everything I need is already within me." She's not pretending life is perfect. She still struggles, still feels insecure sometimes. But now, she no longer feels like she's missing something. Because she understands her peace doesn't come from adding more. It comes from trusting what's already there. And maybe that's something worth remembering. Not just for Sarah, but for you, for me, for anyone who's ever forgotten their own light. If this story spoke to you, take a quiet moment today. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and remind yourself your worth was never missing. It was only waiting to be seen. Reminder 5. Let me be the cause of peace today. Let me be the cause of peace today. Have you ever walked into a room where someone's presence just made you feel calm? Not because they said anything special, not because they solved your problems, but simply because they were there, grounded, gentle, present. That kind of peace is rare. And yet, it's something each of us has the power to bring into the world every single day. Most mornings, we wake up thinking about what we need. Deadlines, messages, bills. We chase after calm like it's somewhere far outside us in a better job, a quieter home, or a perfectly organized to-do list. But Buddhism gently flips that script. Instead of asking, "How can I find peace today?" what if we asked, "How can I be peace today? How can I be the reason someone else breathes easier?" This isn't about doing grand things. It's about how we show up moment by moment. A soft smile instead of a rushed frown. A pause before reacting when someone cuts us off in traffic. Actually listening not to fix, not to judge, but to simply be there. There's a story about Thich Nhat Hanh that always moves me. He once said, "When you love someone, the best thing you can offer is your presence." That's it. Not your advice, not your solutions. Just your calm, caring presence. In a noisy, restless world, that presence is a rare and powerful gift. You see, peace isn't a destination. It's a decision. It's choosing, again and again, to bring more gentleness into a harsh moment, more compassion into a tense space, more silence into a noisy mind. When you say, "Let me be the cause of peace today," you're not just helping others. You're healing yourself. Because every peaceful act you give comes back to soften your own spirit too. Maybe it starts small. You hold the door for a stranger. You call a friend and ask how they're really doing. You take a deep breath before speaking hard truths. These are not just nice gestures. They're sacred ones. Each small act of peace is a ripple, one that moves far beyond what we can see. So, if the world feels heavy today, instead of carrying that weight into every room you enter, maybe ask, what if I could be the stillness in the storm? And if no one says thank you, if no one notices, know this: peace given is never peace wasted. Because someone, somewhere, might just breathe easier. Because of you. Let that be enough. Let you be enough. Let today begin not with the question, "What can I take?" but with the intention, "Let me be the cause of peace today." Reminder 6. Starting the day with gratitude. Let me tell you a little story. There was a time in my life when every morning felt like a battle. I'd open my eyes and the weight of the world was already there. Emails, bills, worries about the future. Even before stepping out of bed, my mind was already racing. Sound familiar? But everything changed the day I tried something different, something so simple, yet so powerful. I paused, took a deep breath, and asked myself, what are 3 things I'm grateful for right now? The sunlight peeking through the curtain, the soft rhythm of my breath, the quiet stillness before the world wakes up. That small moment of gratitude didn't solve all my problems, but it changed the way I faced them. You see, Buddhism teaches that the quality of your mind shapes the quality of your life. And when you start your day anchored in appreciation, even the most ordinary things begin to feel sacred. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that in this very moment, you have something beautiful, however small, to hold on to. Imagine your mind is like a garden. If you wake up watering only the weeds, resentment, fear, lack, what do you think will grow? But if, each morning, you choose to water the seeds of gratitude, peace, and presence, that's when life begins to bloom. Think of someone who wakes up and says, "Ugh, another stressful day ahead." And compare that to someone who says, "Thank you for another chance to try again." Same world, same responsibilities, but a completely different experience. Gratitude doesn't need grand gestures. It lives in the little things, the warmth of your coffee, the sound of birds, the way the morning air touches your skin. When we start seeing these things as gifts rather than givens, something softens inside us. That softening is where peace lives. So tomorrow, before the noise of the world enters your space, take a quiet moment. Place your hand over your heart, feel your breath, and name just 3 things you're thankful for. It could be as simple as, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I get another chance. This is not just a ritual. It's a radical shift in how you meet life. Because gratitude isn't the result of a perfect life. It's the foundation of a peaceful one. And once you train your mind to find the beauty in simplicity, you'll start to realize that every sunrise, every breath, every heartbeat is a silent blessing waiting to be seen. Reminder 7. Let go of expectations and let life surprise you. There's something quietly magical about the early morning. Before the world starts demanding things from you. Before your phone lights up. Before your mind gets crowded with to-do lists and unfinished conversations. It's in this stillness that you have a choice. Not a loud, dramatic one, but a soft, powerful shift. The choice to let go of expectations. You see, most of our suffering isn't caused by what's happening. It's caused by what we wanted to happen instead. We wanted someone to text back. We wanted a plan to work out. We expected others to understand us without having to explain. And when life didn't meet that invisible checklist, we felt disappointed, hurt, angry, lost. I remember a morning not too long ago. I was sipping my coffee, scrolling mindlessly, already frustrated because something hadn't gone the way I planned the day before. Suddenly, I caught myself thinking, why does this always happen to me? And then it hit me. It wasn't life that was hurting me. It was my expectations about how life should go. So I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered, let it be. That day unfolded differently. Not because the world changed, but because I did. Here's what Buddhism teaches. When we release the grip of expectation, we don't become passive. We become present. We stop clinging to the idea that joy is only possible if things go our way. And we start noticing joy in unexpected places. Like in the breeze that brushes your face on the way to work, or in a stranger's smile, or in the quiet relief of not having to control everything. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means showing up with openness. It means starting your morning not with a battle plan, but with curiosity. What is life trying to teach me today? Sometimes the lesson will come wrapped in something beautiful. Other times it will show up as discomfort, resistance, or delay. But when you meet it with an open heart, every moment becomes a doorway to deeper trust, a doorway to freedom. Here is a question worth carrying with you. What if nothing is going wrong, just growing differently than expected? So, tomorrow morning, before you open your inbox, before you dive into deadlines, pause, place your hand on your heart, and say, today, I let go of how it should be, so I can experience what is. And in that surrender, life flows. Not always how you imagined, but often exactly how you needed. Final message. What will you say to yourself tomorrow morning? You know, these 5 morning reminders we've just walked through, they're not just words. They're not some feel-good slogans to post on your fridge or whisper half-heartedly before brushing your teeth. They're a path. A quiet, powerful path. One that doesn't ask you to be perfect. One that doesn't demand you to be some enlightened monk who's never late, never frustrated, never afraid. This path simply invites you to begin again, to show up just as you are each morning, and to choose presence instead of racing thoughts, to choose peace over the need to control, to choose compassion where you might have chosen judgment, and maybe just maybe, to choose to be a source of light, even when your own world feels dim. That's what spiritual practice is, isn't it? Not something grand, not something out of reach, but something small, something sacred, repeated daily, like a breath, like a whisper, like a choice. One breath at a time, you begin again. You're no longer tossed around by life's chaos. You begin to walk with it, not above it, not in denial of it, but with open eyes and a softer heart. And slowly, you become someone new, not because life changed, but because you did. You began to live awake. You began to bring kindness where there was coldness, stillness where there was noise, gratitude where there was grasping, and love, genuine, undemanding love where there once was fear. So now, let me ask you, what will you say to yourself tomorrow morning? Will you start your day with worry, or will you start with wonder? Will you let the noise of the world define your peace, or will you become the peace? And more than anything, can you remember this? You don't need to wait for a perfect life to begin practicing a peaceful one. If someone just came to mind while you listen to this, someone who's going through a hard morning, someone who needs to start again, maybe this is your chance to send them a quiet reminder. You're not alone, and you can begin again too.